welcome to the Pagan Perspective. My name is Angel and I am your Wednesday host, and today we're going to be talking about the new moon, dark moon practices. This question was submitted by one of the hosts. Yay! And the question is, new moon, dark moon practices. Do you work with this time of the cycle? And if so, what does that work look like? I don't work with it a lot, actually. No, let me back up. I've had sort of a complacent time in my practice as of late, and I have not done a lot of anything really outside of my coven work. That is changing for a variety of reasons, but in the past I have worked with them, and this is basically what I did. So the new moon is when the sun and the moon are aligned in the same sign. And I'm going to read my notes because I have horrible memory, and this is going to help me keep on track. The new moon is about beginnings, recharging goals, recharging spells and charms, or making new ones, charging your intentions, creating, developing, cultivating, and making manifest your intentions. New moons are like a blank page. It is a time when you can really, it's almost like spring. It's like things are starting to, you're starting to put out those little seeds. That's how I work with the new moon. Some people work with it differently. I work with it as if it is that little seed that's starting to sprout, and it needs help sprouting. So this is a time where I would, I have those intentions, and I will recharge them to help them go out into the universe and be fruitful. So with the dark moon, though, I do want to say, the dark moon people, there are some people that feel like working with the dark moon, doing anything during the dark moon, it voids your magic. Now, the one thing I will say, and I'll always say this, is I really don't believe, as long as you're not harming anybody or anything, I really don't believe that any magic is bad, or any way of doing something is bad. If it works for you, and it connects you with the divine, then right on. It may be different from what I do, but it doesn't mean you're wrong, it doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just we do it differently. So, the dark moon, I don't work with the idea that the dark moon is a dead moon and dead magic, or not dead magic, but dead energy. I don't work in that sense. I understand it, but I don't work. That's not how I see it. The dead moon, when there's no reflection, leaving the lunar face in darkness. It's the most powerful time in your deepest self, and meditation, being in a stillness, thought preparing for the birth of new beginnings. It's a time of releasing. Okay, let me back up. So, it's a time when you can go within yourself and do your meditations and figure out what your intentions are, and really go into that deep place inside yourself to figure out what you want to manifest into your life. It's a prelude to the new moon. So you figure out what you want, and then you put the intentions out there, or you figure out if the intentions that you have put out there are what you still want. And then when the new moon happens, you can recharge them, or you can change them. The other part of it is time of releasing into the void, which doesn't serve you. The dark moon opens up doors to the past so we can reach back in our collective memory. The dark moon to me is not so much it's a very deep place. We call it a void because that's all we can wrap our mind around. So in one sense, you can put your things that don't serve you, bad habits, toxic people that you want to lovingly leave your life, whatever it is that is not a positive force in your life that you would like it to go away. These are things that you can project out into that void to leave your life. On the same token, it is a deep place to connect to do, in my opinion, this is me, where you can connect to past lives, where you can connect to deeper to your deity, especially if you work with a darker deity. It tends to be, for me, a stronger time to connect with your deity if your deity is a what they consider a dark goddess or a dark god. It's a very empowering time for me personally and spiritually. It is very different for everybody, but there's lots of different things that you could do during the new moon and the dark moon, and what I suggest is to figure it out for yourself, really. Like I said, every aspect of this path is very organic, and it's going to work differently for different people for lots and lots and lots of reasons. And so if you want to work with the new moon in a certain way and it works for you, then that's the way I think you should work with it, and not necessarily what I say works for me or what anybody else does. But for me, the dark moon kind of gets a bad rap, and it gets overlooked, but it's a very powerful time, and it's a time where a lot of people don't like to look at the good and the bad and the ugly of themselves and do that deep self-analysis. But for me, I like picking apart things like that inside myself to figure why do I get offended by that? Why do I feel that way about that? You know, this is a time that I do those things. It's a very deep time. It's a way to connect to that very deep consciousness that we normally feel very disconnected from. So those are the ways that I work with the moons, those two moon phases, and I hope that helped. It's a very interesting question, and I really had to think about it because, like I said, I have not done anything in many moons. No. Oh, I might have to cut that. That was really stupid. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the wonderful comments, as I always say, because I always do. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and I will see you next week. Until next week, blessed be. Bye.